Divinitas salutaras, vativas libertas.
Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Rome Remastered. So, it was quite a while since the last session. It was right before I went to Cornwall, which was 2 weeks ago now. So, I slept a few times since then, so, I may have forgotten a few of the minor details because I'm diving straight into this after work. And I haven't really sat down and analysed the situation to bring myself back up to speed, so I'm going to do that on camera. So it will be a bit of a slower paced session, but I do apologise, but hey, I'm on a tight schedule and I'm rather busy with work and stuff, so I'm doing everything live today, everything live, including the upskilling. So yes, in the last session, I do seem to remember though, one thing stuck out in my mind was that the great and honourable Hasdrubal, he passed away. Our gallant leader, he fell. He didn't fall really. His head fell as he was working away in his quarters. Old age gripped him. Maybe some sudden heart attack or something, and poof, down he went. Head on desk. Was found in the morning by his assistant. Very sad time. But anyway, yes, he has died, which means we have a new family leader, new faction leader of the family, Bisaltes. Bisaltes, whose name could live on in the history books for some time if he continues on in the same manner. He has been the thorn in the side of many a Roman, the death knell of many a Roman. Many Romans probably quiver at the sound of this man's name right now, because he's ripped them to shreds every time they've met on the battlefield, and he continues to campaign on the southern tip of Italy. But more about that very shortly. But I just want to start this session by saying a massive, massive thank you to everyone who took part in some capacity in the roleplay. It lasted for just over 2 months. It was very enjoyable. I really enjoyed it, and the characters were so brilliantly brought to life. It made it much, much more enjoyable to play through this campaign. And these characters will live on in my memory banks, just like the memory banks of some of the characters from RP's past, such as Titus from the original Rome, such as all the original generals from the original Medieval 2 series, such as Simon Maitland and Nicholas Horston and Mitchell and Eofgar the Honest, the names that still roll off the tongue so easily because of the fact that I have such fond memories of that roleplay. It will be the same here as well, I'm sure, in the future. So a big thank you to all. So I'm going to try to follow out your kind of characters' paths in the same kind of style and vein that you've roleplayed them. The roleplay section is still open on the Discord, so that if you want to have a look at that, if you weren't part of it and are interested to see what was going on behind the scenes, it's still there. You can take a look at it. The link to the Discord is in the description. Head over there and have a look at some of the roleplay that took part. It was real good fun. And if you were roleplaying a character and you still want to have a little tiny bit of input into your characters and what they're doing, you don't necessarily have to roleplay anymore because it's now essentially finished. But the official orders channel will still be there. This roleplay section of the Discord will still be open until the end of the campaign, and therefore you can still actually provide some steer to your characters should you wish to do so. So the option is there for you to continue just giving a little bit of steer if you want to see your character prosper, given that you've had some investment into that character over the past couple of months or so. So there you go, a bit of a lengthy introduction, but needed to be said. So without further ado, we're going to now dive in and start picking up from where we left off as best as I can remember. So we shall start, as we tend to do, over here in the west, not the east, as I tend to get my east and west mixed up regularly. So we've got 11,000 in the coffers. We're turning about 7.5 grand a turn. I seem to recall that I've done everything I need to do in terms of building, recruiting, so there's nothing else for me to do on that respect. So I'm just going to fly through and see where we are. We've recently captured Astorica with the mighty Theopanus and Zixus Elixus, the young whippersnapper who's trying to learn the trade of generalship from his older compatriot. And yeah, they're now on their way to capture Numantia, which they will hopefully take in a couple of turns' time, so we shall continue on with that one. Astorica, taxes low, face orange, building a temple which will hopefully help with public order. So we're going to focus on public order here, but we're also recruiting that kind of a shield fleet for the Bay of Biscay region between these two settlements. So that's ongoing for the time being. And for the more eagle-eyed amongst you, you may have noticed that Theopanus is now the new faction heir. I assume the game just assigns the oldest family member as the faction heir, and he's the oldest family member now. But I think it's quite appropriate for him to be the faction heir, because he is the elder statesman of the family. But he has proven himself to be an able commander, which I'm sure Bisaltes would see eye to eye with as a commander himself. He's ripped apart Iberia. He's been a very good statistician. I don't know. It's been good with strategy on the battlefield. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. He's strategician. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, he's been good on the battlefield with his strategy. With his Balearic slingers and stuff, he's whittled down the enemy for minimal losses. So you know, I mean, it seems like a very good pick. This Theopanus is the faction heir, and unless I'm told otherwise by the person that roleplayed him, my plan with him is to capture Numantia with Zixus, to then take him to head south, where he'll kind of spend most of his days, unless any urgency occurs, kind of flitting and managing both Corduba, which is the main city within the Iberian region for us, but also Carthago Nova as well, because that stands for, I believe, New Carthage. So it's almost like a second Carthage, which kind of resonates as a good place for a faction heir to spend one's time sometimes. So he's going to be the kind of maintain his watch as governor of Iberia, warden of Iberia, and yeah, spend his time down here as faction heir. That seems like a good thing to do. Whereas Zixus will continue the push towards Oscar, and then look at solidifying the border here, rather than pushing into the land of the Gauls. Just kind of maybe a couple of fortifications to stop the Gauls from coming in, and then holding station whilst old Matuginus the Madman rampages through Gaul, tearing their settlements apart and getting us some much needed cash, because once he's finished doing that, these settlements won't be worth taking. So we're quite happy to kind of sit here and wait and create a natural border here. So that's the general plan for Iberia as I see it. So there you go. Lots of peasants there. Normal tax rate's good. Cordoba, low tax rate, 80%. This place needs a shake-up, to be honest with you. I'd be glad when Theopanus comes here, because he'll whip this place into shape. They've been out of line for far too long, if you ask me. But anyway, public baths built there. We're getting roads there. Ships being constructed for the shield fleet. And Matuginus has got his army ready to go marauding in Gaul, but we just need a few more peasants first, because the public order isn't great. So once we get the peasants required to hold station here, he is off like a shot. So that's the situation there. Still blockading. So yeah, that's the position in Iberia as I seem to recall it. Excellent job. There's still some spies around and diplomats ready to answer the call. Tabnet's there, for instance. Carthalo's there, just kind of spying on things. So yeah, all good stuff. Tingy is still suffering with plague, which is rather unfortunate, but unlike his father, Bisaltes has no qualms slapping down a very high tax rate on the land. if necessary, to fund the war efforts. So that is what we shall do. So very high tax rate in Tingi. Right, we move across to Palma then. Just literally trying to assess tax rates right now. Cirta, it's fine. Still building. Palma doesn't need anything. As we split down to Demidi, it's getting its bazaar. It can have an orange face, why not? Okay, so everything there is quite hunky-dory, which takes me actually to Carthage, because there is nobody in Carthage, and somebody has to govern Carthage. Somebody always has to govern Carthage. We can't have it just left to the riffraff to take control of. I mean, I know they're in shock after losing their leader, but something needs to be done here. So as a closest family member to the place, and as a family member that's has been sat there ensuring that Cirta prospers, has recruited half of the first campaigning army that Bisaltes currently has. He's been he's just sat back and not craved the limelight, and not kicked up a fuss because he's not been on the front lines like a lot of the others have. He's waited his time, he's bided his time, he's been patient. For his reward for that, Yeehaw is going to actually be asked to go and govern Carthage. Bit of an upgrade for him. Now Cirta might have to come down now, public order wise, but that's fine. So Yeehaw is coming along to govern Carthage. So congratulations, Yeehaw. You've done a very good job. So there you go. He's popping across to Carthage, which needs a little bit of help. Corrales, everything's fine there, apart from the tax rate, of course. Indeed. Thapsus, okay, everything's fine there. Just checking all settlements really to start with. Theodeclus is currently here, very high tax rate, okay, just a bit of a settlement check, we got that situation. And of course, who can forget the situation down here in Siwa, which is a royal mess, but hey ho. So after we lost Bomilcar not so long ago. So everything there is not quite so hunky-dory, but it's ticking along quite nicely. We've got ships meandering around the place, lots of the damn things, so I'm kind of a bit confused as to what ships were supposed to be going where. It's been a while, as I said, I haven't looked since the last session, so we'll leave the ships for now. And we have, of course, the Theages the Wrathful, a very competent family member, the Warden of Sicily. Everything in Sicily is ticking over quite nicely, no further work required at the moment. So, basically, the crux of this session boils down to one thing, really, to be honest with you, because I'm going to do a lot more planning and preparing before the next session, but I wanted to get something up because it's been so long since we've had any Rome, so I thought I'd give you something rather than nothing. And the something that I'm actually going to give you is the battle for Croton. Now, it's not going to be an epic saga because we should win it, but we do want to ensure that we win it with a degree of panache and without losing too many men. Certainly not losing any slingers, certainly not losing any elephants, which if we auto-resolve it, we will probably end up losing. And because we are in the heartland of the Romans, we need to preserve every man possible. Every man possible. So yes, when we end the turn, as we will shortly do, we will take Croton with our new faction leader, Bisaltes, rising to power at age 32. He could be in charge for up to 40 years if he lives to as long as his grandfather did. He could see us through for the rest of this campaign. And, he's got 6 command, not a surprise there. Influence of 5, not a surprise there. Management of 0, also not a surprise. He's not been one for managing settlements, he's been one for combat, for charging into the fight and getting stuff done. He's a victor, he's a command man, brave, a good commander, a good attacker, a night fighter, a heartless ruler. Keeps those below in their proper stations. Now his father, this is looking back to the role play and a little bit of history about how Carthage kind of operated back in those days, insisted that one cannot be in the field of battle as a main commander and also be, you know, a counsellor, you know, doing the politics. You've got to separate your politics from your commanding. So if this was his father's regime and he had his father's principles, Bisaltes would probably maybe capture Croton because he's there now, and then insist that somebody takes his place as the new head of the army of the Middle Sea. And he would then return to Carthage to then rule in politics, overseeing the family's expansion like his father did. But he's not going to do that. Oh no. He's going to be the kind of faction leader that leads from the front. He's going to be the one to smash down the gates of Rome himself. Yes, it's a bit of a dangerous position to put oneself in on the front lines, but that's all he's known, and that's what he will continue to know. And when the time is right and the Romans are defeated, whenever that may be, he will return to Carthage a conquering hero. And at that point, he can put his feet up and start shuffling papers about. That's what I think Bisaltes would want in terms of his roleplay. Correct me if I'm wrong. So he will continue the fight, which might give the Romans a spring in their step to know that the faction leader of the Carthaginians is actually right close to them. Take him out and the family may crumble. Maybe in disarray. Who knows? But he is staying put because this is his army. And this is his victory to be had. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So let's see what happens in his first attack. Unless something else happens in the meantime. Let's see what happens. Let's see what our enemies have in store for us. I hope we don't get attacked at Siwa, because I can't be bothered with that fight. I want to fight here in Croton. I might auto-resolve that down there. We're going to lose it. It's also worth begging the question and asking the question, Hasdrubal was going to fight a defensive war against the Egyptians. Bisaltes was, in the roleplay, much more on the lines of wanting an offensive war. So now that he's in charge, technically speaking, we should probably start thinking about going on the offence against Egypt, even though it will still spread us quite thinly. It's what he probably would want. Theodecalus, who is down in Lepsis Magna and the closest general to Egypt, may find himself very busy in the future. Just saying. He may become the man that's tasked with taking down the Egyptians. Single-handedly, really, because there's no support nearby. What are these people doing? What are these people doing?
Our ships are under attack! Victory!
Oh, was that our spy?
Our ships are under attack!
Flipping hell's going on here?
Victory!
Right, okay. As I said, the main crux of this session is the fight for Croton. There's obviously going to be a lot of things for us to tidy up across the realm. I'll do that at the start of the next session. So, right, here we go. We've got the settlement besieged. Siwa is still under siege. We've got a new family member, Danel Emerita, which obviously is the son of Yeeha, or the daughter of Yeeha Emerita. And we've also got Chiron, another family member, and Theopropidas has got extra +2 to agent skill. A sixth subterfuge spy. Wow. Not bad. I mean, he is 50, but that is not bad at all. Lots of ceasefire with the Greeks and the Romans and the Gauls and the Jews. Why? Why do they do this little dance? 1 minute they're friends, or at least have a mutual kind of respect for each other. They kind of look each other up and down. Yeah. And then the next minute they're bloody grabbing each other by the collars and have at you. Beggars belief. Right, okay, so as I said, yes, let's get to this.
Sire!
Did I not? Do you know what? I may have been able to do this at the end of that turn, rather than the start of this one. I didn't check, but I was under the impression that when you were on this screen, any of your siege equipment showed up on this tab here. I'm sure it used to do. Maybe I got it wrong. Anyway, let's do it. Let's do it. So this is our first siege attack against a settlement that's got walls, stone walls. So it's a good bit of practice, because these are a massive pain in the arse, from what I can remember. However, Bisaltes knows his stuff. Bisaltes knows his stuff. And not only that, but our spies have opened the gates. Okay, so I'll give you the plan, and hopefully the plan will work. Now, in Croton, there is the necessary level of military building for us to replenish our spearmen. So I'm not overly concerned if we lose too many of them in this fight, because we can replenish them. If we couldn't, we'd probably put the infantry on the ladders. But I'd rather have these guys because they're better in defence. So the plan is, we storm the walls where there is nobody waiting for us. Hopefully. If there is people waiting, we'll have to change this plan. We'll storm the walls, capture all of the towers that are going to cause our people problems. And then once we've done that, we shall take in our slingers, a couple of units of horses, and our infantry, and just basically take down the Hastati and Principi that's in the settlement. Shouldn't be difficult. It's just a case of ensuring that we don't lose too many men. But if we do lose some, we can replenish, so it's not a massive tragedy. Why are you stopped? What are they doing? Come back here, please. Come back here, please. You are utter buffoons. Drop the ladders, man! And come out of there, will you, please? Heavens, help us. What utter idiots are we dealing with here? Look how they've left the ladders. All higgledy-piggledy.
Your men are now at the walls with ladders. With luck, they will carry the walls.
I think Bisaltes is going to have something to say about your incompetence, I'll tell you that much. You don't suffer fools gladly. Right, let's get these guys up. Hopefully these guys have got a bit more skill than this. I can't believe, look at the... I've never seen that in this game. I've never seen that. They were utterly bamboozled.
Your men have taken the walls.
Like
Now
clockwork.
the way to your victory is clear.
There you go. That's what we like to see. Keep firing. Keep firing. I think we'll capture that tower, and that tower. Because we're going to be coming into the city, and we want to be able to come down this way to get to the square. There's an entranceway there, I believe. But the main entranceway and the easier way is to come actually from this side up here and then in. Rather large city. Yep, that's our tower now, and soon that will be our tower as well. So you just literally have to pass through the towers to capture them. We've still only lost 16 men here. This is not bad at all. And that's now our tower. So all these towers should fire upon the Roman Principes. And we'll keep these guys up on the wall. They've done their job. And the next task is going to be to get a unit of Balearic slingers onto the ladders to fire down upon the enemy, and then once we've got a clear path in, we shall move in. Oof, nice. As soon as the Balearic slingers get involved, them numbers drop even more significantly. Whoa, look at that. Absolutely getting peppered here. Right, next phase of the plan then. A couple of units of infantry. Get them a bit closer. We'll take these incompetent spearmen. Send them in. Bisaltes himself coming for a nosy. And a unit of horses as well. Men. Oof. Oof. Good night, Vienna. Good night, Vienna. Right, what I want to do now is I want to get my slingers in. This is going to be one of the biggest town squares that I've seen. It's essentially five towns. Well, yeah, 5 town squares altogether. Could call it technically 9, really. Very large. It shall look very nice with our white flag dripped slap bang in the middle of it. It shall look spectacular. Now what I'm going to do is get my horses ready to come up here for maybe a little bit of a flanking manoeuvre. Okay, so they're kind of sat waiting, which is fine. Starty. We should be able to hit them with the decent flanking attack. I'm not going to use Bisaltes in the charge. We saw what happened to Bommelcar when he charged into some archers. We don't want to risk it. But he's just there for moral support, and he wants to see the Romans fall. He's turned into quite a bit of a hobby of his, watching them die on the battlefield. Thinking how best to do this, really. Right, what we got here? Iberian infantry, Libyan spears, Iberian infantry. Keep moving forward. Have them walk. I don't want to unduly risk my slingers, so we'll keep the slingers just behind the infantry. Don't want to lose any of them bad boys. You can't replenish them very easily. Okay, it's about as good as you're going to get it with cavalry because of the issue with pathfinding. Okay, here they come. A bit of a flanking manoeuvre. 3 sides. We are suffering. A little bit here. Right, here we go. Let's say it's not going silkily smooth, is it? They're probably going to fight to the death if we go in the backs. Come on, get charged again! That's why it's tamest. It's a pathfinder, you see. Look at this, where are they going? Oh, for God's sake, this is ridiculous. Okay, we've lost a unit of Libyan spears here. Bring the horses out and do another charge here. This is not going anywhere near as smoothly as I was hoping, to be honest with you. We have got complete and utter pathfinding issues in the city square. Our Iberian infantry are very tired. Is that the issue? Have we run them too much before this fight? I didn't check their status. Jesus, this is absolute a mess. This is why I hate these battles. Absolute passion. Horses getting slaughtered because they can't pathfind properly. A proper charge in their backs would have been helpful. It's fine. I'm concerned that we're actually going to lose. Victory is almost certain. Victory is almost certain. Can you guys get down here? Lord, give me strength.
Abandon the ram! Units! Units! Double time!
Oh wow. Oh wow. Big trouble. Big trouble. 92. These guys are coming. My horses.
Units! Double time!
Well, this has been not great. I lost some of these guys as well, apparently. We got some spearmen here.
Units! Run! Attack quickly! Units!
Ooh, don't get too close. Bit of missile fire. Take care of business. Do we dare charge into the backs of these people? Are we going to get a good one this time? We'll try it. Bit better. Oh, get these guys out of here, please.
The gods smile upon you today. The enemy general
Do they?
is killed and his men lose heart.
Could have fooled me, tell you.
Shield cavalry.
Finish them!
Charge!
Victory lies in your grasp.
Oh,
There's nothing the enemy can do but run.
a lot of casualties healed, thankfully. But nonetheless, that was a bit of a mess. And I don't take the whole blame there. I think there was a lot of pathfinding issues in the city square. Our horses had charged the first time of asking without doing a little dance. That should have gone a lot better.
Victory is ours, mighty one. This land is ours.
Come on. Come on. Stop thinking about it. And leave this place not quite a smouldering ruin like Bommelkar did, but at least bring the population into heel. Knock down their shrine, build a shrine of our choosing, and replenish these blasted troops, as many as we possibly can over the next couple of turns, before we move on to our next destination, which is Tarentum, which thankfully is a much smaller settlement with a wooden wall, so hopefully that won't go quite so painfully. But there you go, a bit of a warm-up session. Get ourselves back into the Rome groove. The next one will be in a couple of days, and I'm hoping to get a Rome stream up, hopefully at least on Friday or Saturday this week, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, the Carthaginian war machine rumbles on. After a bit of a bump in the road, we've managed to slightly manoeuvre our way around it, and we shall continue onwards now on our journey. So, yes, hopefully Tarentum will fall in a much more smooth manner. But until next time, see you soon.